Hey everybody, welcome to the channel, and I just got to tell you right up front, I am so enjoying this battle. Yep, the final showdown between the Dual Fire and the Kamado Joe, with tri-tip being the deciding factor, if you may. That's right, tri-tip was on sale. I had to pick some up. You know it's going to just happen. Smoked and seared, that's the name of the game this go round. And if you're new to the channel, hey, don't forget to like and subscribe because we got some other good stuff coming your way. But first, let's get it on with smoked tri-tip. Now, one of the things with the charcoal smokers is you've got to set everything up by hand. We're going to talk about that later, but first, I'm going to trim these tri-tips, and we've got some pretty sizable tri-tips in front of us that we're going to smoke brisket style. So what I'm doing is just cutting off all the loose and undesirable portions, and actually I'm not even going to use those for sausage. Those are just going into the trash can. Now, one of these is just slightly plumper than the other. That's the one I'm eyeing for the junior because that's going to make a better fit. That's the one there on the left. Okay, and so doing my usual blacks barbecue rub just like I do for brisket, and following that up with the hardcore carnivore black. This combination just does it for me. I always get great bark and good flavor out of that bark every time I use it. So yeah, I think I'm in a rut. I'm just settling in on these, and maybe at some point I'll try something a little different, but for now this clump duster is going with tried and true. Now, just to share a little bit more on the sale that these that we're under, you know, this is basically September, October 2025, $5 a pound, and it had a 20% off coupon that was stacked with another 10%. So it was a deal. Okay, resting those in the fridge overnight, letting them dry brine. The next day, setting up for the smoke. Now I'm trying to get about 5 to 6 hours on this in terms of smoke time. And as you can see there, I've got the snake ring, put together inside the junior, and I'm lighting that fuse up. And as that burns down, it's going to smolder the wood that's on top and in the ash pit below. And I'm turning on the breezo so that I can help moderate my temperatures and keep that, a solid low and slow all the way through. Now I'm also putting in a double indirect configuration just to block the heat and give me nothing but the smoke. And I'm putting my grate on top just so that I can get good smoke all the way around that tri-tip. So we're going to let this thing preheat and get it ready. And one of the things about getting this thing ready is just double checking that the breezo is set up right, doing its job. And then from there, the daisy wheel on the top, we've got to put that in place and kind of adjust that down for basically low and slow airflow going through. Now for the Dual Fire, yeah, it's a push of a button, press and forget, that's just that simple. Okay, next we're ready to just load everything up, putting in the temperature probes. Now I'm tying this back into the Dual Fire just so I can track it with the trending charts and so forth. I just find that pretty convenient, having it all in one place. And from there, it's just a matter of monitoring the cook and watching it happen. So loading that up to where the thicker part is on the warmer side, and then just letting the smoke roll. That's all there is to it. Now 5.5 hours later, after going on the Dual Fire on low, we're ready to wrap. Yeah, it's got some great bark development, looking good. So I'm putting down some duck fat and some butter, and I'm going to wrap that up and allow that butter to kind of just saturate in and moisture into the, let the fats do its job. All I know is it tastes good. That's all I can tell you guys. Anyhow, getting that in place, putting the probe back in and making that work. Now, like I said, I was running on low on the indirect side, so that's 180 degrees. And on the Kamado Joe Jr., I was basically, trying to keep that at 180 as well. But just keeping some good smoke moving through it was really the main thing. And again, a little bit later, maybe about 6 hours into the cook, there we go. It was ready to go. That fat was rendering out, fairly well. And, again, duck fat and butter, wrapping it up and getting that tucked in there pretty tight. And then going back in to finish the cook. Now, when I finish the cook, I tend to raise the temperature a bit more, typically plus 25, and then go plus 50 over what I was smoking at, and then trying to get it to temp, tender, usually a little bit over 200. Now it's time for dinner. And oh yeah, it was like Christmas unwrapping this. I gotta tell you, the bark came out really well on the Junior. I was impressed with that because I've always struggled to try and get low and slow and get some smoke in place. But when it came to actually measuring that in terms of the smoke ring, check out what we have here in terms of smoke ring on the Dual Fire compared to what we have on the Kamado Joe Junior. Okay, little to no smoke ring, right? Now it got smoke, absolutely, but it just didn't, show up as prominent. But I was able to have a good cook on the Junior. I held everything at that low and slow target. There's the curve right there on the right. You can see that for yourself. And brought it up to temp. Did it have smoke flavor? Yeah, it had good smoke flavor, but it just didn't come close to the Dual Fire. So this round goes to the Dual Fire. Family all agreed. Not going to show you the look on Lucy's face when she had to eat off the Kamado Joe Jr. It's just better for both of us. Okay, now we're ready to sear. Again, putting some wood down there in the bottom of the ashtray, going with the snake ring on top with wood on top of that, because the first part of this, in terms of reverse sear, is getting some smoke on it, and then we're going to turn the heat up and sear it. And so yeah, double indirect. This time I got a little drip pan in place, going to catch some of that fat rendering so it doesn't stain my pizza stone too bad. Loading up the brizo again, and yeah, this time we're cutting these up into steaks, and we're going to cut those so that we're against the grain, and should be tasty, So getting the smoke started on each one of these, just laying everything into place, as you can see here, all right? And then, low and slow, trying to target 200 degrees on that brizo. Now, just like before, got a good smoke in place, and this time it was maybe about a 2 to 3 hour smoke. And I went ahead and pulled those off because, it takes a while to set everything up on the Junior in order to get it to a point where you can do the reverse sear. So you've got to pull the grate out, you got to pull the double indirect out, you got to rearrange the coals, getting them into basically a center configuration so they're all burning and giving you maximum heat. You've got to put the little triangular grate thing in there, holder thing, that is. I think that's the official thing. And then I'm putting my soapstone in place. Now yes, heating all of that up, we're north of 450 degrees, so I'm expecting a good sear. And yes, every time you open it up, it does cool down just a little bit, but then those coals get a rush of air, so they heat back up when you close the lid. But we are working some good radiant heat here, okay? And, similarly, turned on the Dual Fire, got that thing at full, so it's, cruising at 700 degrees, and I'm looking for a quick sear over there. At least that was the game plan, okay? I'll share why here in a minute. Anyhow, flame kissing it like I usually do, flipping those over, and that flame, typically, burns itself out when I shut the lid and starve it of some oxygen. So going by the usual playbook, getting some good Maillard reaction on the soapstone, and yeah, I'm just kind of flipping these around so I can flame kiss the other side, and yeah, it's looking pretty good. Temperature is a nice medium rare going on inside of here, and just listen to that sizzle. Yep, just covering the edges on that as well. And you know what? It was at this point I started to realize when your meat is on fire, it's probably not a good thing. And I may have gotten a little bit carried away with my flame kissing there. But the Junior, that was looking okay. Everything was coming out according to plan. But I had my concerns about the Dual Fire this go round. And yes, it was dinner time. And as you can see, it definitely got some flame kiss sear going on. And surprisingly, the Junior had a good smoke kiss going on to it. And there we were. It came out kind of medium rare, cutting against the grain. Got a nice little, fat cap going on with each bite. And honestly, this was a very, very pleasant experience. Okay? And in short, a little bit, more well done on the Junior. on the outside, that is, but the inside was tender. I mean, it, did come out, good, and it did have a good smoke ring going on there, although we burnt most of it. But hear for yourself the results.
It's very burnt.
But
it does taste good though. I mean, you could taste like it, but like, it doesn't taste like the most burnt thing I've ever eaten. It tastes better than most restaurants.
Yeah, and that's the taste I was talking about. Yeah.
Restaurants are really bad.
Okay,
this one's the best. It takes the crown.
Yeah, no surprises there. None at all. Runaways can happen. Yep, and I was a victim number one on that. Charcoal flavor, no ring, but charcoal is good. Assuming you like that charcoal flavor, because it is different. And yeah, Lucy doesn't hold back. Okay, some closing thoughts on the charcoal grills. Of the two that we've looked at so far, the Kamado and the standard Weber, obviously the Kamado is a huge step up with radiant heat and a lot of the features and functions that you get out of it, okay? So that is not in no way, a means to dismiss the power that you get out of the kettle. You can still do a ton of things with it. Both come with great accessories. And really what I've discovered is you can make these whatever you want to make out of them, okay? Lots of functionality for some really good cooks. Now that being said, at the end of the day, it really just came down to our family preferring wood flavor over charcoal flavor. In some instances, that charcoal flavor is just a little bit too strong and overpowering. Now, I was able to compensate, with chunks of wood in there that kind of gave it a little bit more of the wood flavor. But by and large, the pellet grill, the wood flavor, it took the day. And quite frankly, for me, it's an easier evening cook. Not as much work, not as much setup, not as much cleanup. It just overall, fits my lifestyle a lot better. Okay, it's Zen time. I once commented to my mom how I owe my life to my dad's first car. She simply laughed. There's me with my first car, a truck. I enjoyed that vehicle. Gen 1 daughters love theirs too. First car is always a blessing. Now I'm teaching another generation how to drive. Wish me luck. Yep, and another thing that goes on, the mums. Look at the size of that mum on my date. And there's my daughter's mom. They got a little bigger over time. I guess that's just how it works, right? Mums change and kind of grow with fashion trends. But you know what? I wasn't ready for bigger mums. And it didn't stop there. They got humongous. Man, does time fly. And yeah, do me a favor, like and subscribe and give me some comments. Truly appreciate it.